Hello and welcome to Gishi Gaming Reviews, where each game is thoroughly and meticulously reviewed using the 100-point scoring system that I've developed. For a brief video explaining how my 100-point scoring system works, you can check out the link in the description below. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the game Pacific Drive from indie developer Ironwood Studios. If you have some spare time this summer, you should pay a visit to a little place known as the Olympic Exclusion Zone, a remote location in the Pacific Northwest known for its lush forests, tall mountains, and breathtaking natural beauty, not to mention its strange creatures, corrosive clouds, and brutal instability storms. This is the world you inhabit in Ironwood Studios' Pacific Drive, a driving survival game where you repair, drive, and upgrade a beat-up old station wagon through a mostly abandoned, top-secret, government-funded staging ground for something called LIM technology, a form of experimental tech capable of matter manipulation and teleportation while also spawning an assortment of unnatural entities and environmental conditions known as anomalies. These anomalies and environmental threats are the main enemies you will face as you take control of the driver, a nondescript, faceless character that through no fault of your own were teleported within the sealed walls of the Olympic Exclusion Zone, where you very quickly discover a beat-up old station wagon that is about to become your best friend and only lifeline as you are forced to travel across a strange, beautiful, and increasingly dangerous landscape. A few surviving residents still remain in the zone, their radio chatter serving as your only true guidance as you attempt to navigate your way through it. A garage discovered early in the game will serve as your base of operations as you plan increasingly longer road trips to various highways and junctions where a multitude of different anomalous threats await you as you attempt to fill up your car with any resources you can scavenge and then safely escape through a gateway back to the garage before a storm of instability can close in around you. If you fail a run in any way, whether failing to make it through the gateway or simply succumbing to the dangers of the environment, you are returned to the garage with your car badly damaged and 90% of whatever was packed into it gone. This aspect can be brutally punishing at times, as the smallest of mistakes can sometimes cost you hours worth of playtime. I like my games to be challenging though, so I wouldn't have it any other way, but if you do happen to want a less difficult experience, there are more than enough settings that you can change in the menu screen to make the game easier, and even a few like car part status effects that make it even more difficult. If you do happen to fail a run early in the game though, no need to worry. There is a friendly anomalous dumpster waiting for you back at the garage that always seems to have exactly what you need to get your car running again. On top of that, there is an old abandoned car and a couple other basic scrappable items that replenish themselves every time you return. The garage starts off as a basic workshop equipped with a gas pump, battery charger, and crafting station, and in typical survival game fashion can be upgraded with a variety of different gadgets and workstations that can do pretty much anything you can think of, from breaking down items into basic components, to regenerating damaged car parts, to diagnosing quirks, which are unusual behaviors that your car will sometimes develop that can range from being detrimental to your survival to actually sometimes being slightly helpful. Trips are planned from the route planner in the garage, where you can get an idea of what sort of conditions await you at the various junctions and plan your route accordingly. While on the road, you will need to not only fill your car with supplies, but also acquire enough anchor energy to open a gateway back to the garage. After returning, any anchor energy acquired on your trip can be used to purchase blueprints for craftable items and upgrades to your garage from the outfitting station. This setup, where you basically go out on runs and then come back and upgrade your car, can lead to some incredibly addictive gameplay, where I personally frequently found myself awake at 3 or 4 a.m. after repeatedly saying, "one more run." And while the act of going out and looting very similar looking houses and science labs can become mildly repetitive, the ever-changing and often beautiful landscape paired with a large variety of strange and interesting sights and encounters are more than enough to constantly keep things fresh and interesting. The plot and storyline in Pacific Drive are told using two different methods. Radio transmissions from Ophelia, Tobias, and Francis push the narrative forward and provide insight into their characters and the history of the zone, while computer files and audio recordings, which are found in the form of scavengeable items, fill in the gaps and deepen your understanding and knowledge of the area's history and lore. This style of world building makes for some truly compelling sci-fi that stays interesting until the very end. Combine that with some top-notch voice acting from the cast of NPCs that you never actually get to meet in person, and you get one of the most story-rich, captivating games I've played in years. The highways and junctions that you visit on your trips are loosely based on a real location in the Pacific Northwest that is well known for its natural beauty, and the game's photorealistic graphics do a fantastic job of capturing that beauty and twisting it into something strange and surreal. The picturesque landscape that once was the Olympic Peninsula becomes increasingly bizarre and otherworldly as you travel deeper and deeper into the zone. The threats that you face in Pacific Drive consist of anomalies and atmospheric conditions that can range from slightly annoying to overwhelmingly powerful and are incredibly diverse and keep you constantly on your toes, never knowing what to expect next. There are well over 50 anomalies that can be scanned and identified in your logbook and lurk around every corner, including but not limited to localized clouds of radiation, electricity, and corrosive gas, bizarre life forms that will wreak havoc on your car and steal your luggage racks, and exploding mannequins that move whenever you aren't looking at them. To combat these threats, you will have access to an ever-expanding set of upgrades to not only your car and equipment, but yourself as well. Your car comes equipped with a craft mat where you can create simple tools and make basic repairs and replacements for car parts on the run, but most major repairs and upgrades will need to be crafted at the more advanced workbench back at the garage. Before leaving on your runs, you'll need to craft survival tools including pry bars, flashlights, and scrappers to ensure that you will have access to the resources that you need while on the road. A variety of different gadgets can also be crafted that can be attached directly to your car, allowing you to equip up to 4 different car abilities, including floodlights, a nitro burst, and even a radiation shield later in the game. So whether your personal playstyle is cautious and methodical, or fast, furious, and reckless, there should be a perfect set of upgrades to cater to you. Pacific Drive contains a level of realness and authenticity while on the road that, while sometimes frustrating, really enhances the illusion that you are living out this bizarre experience. Forget to put your car in park, and it will roll away from you. Forget to pack the proper tools, and you might deny yourself access to the resource you need the most. Miss a valuable opportunity to fill your gas tank, and it could cost you your entire run. Even the inventory system feels similar to playing real-life trunk Tetris, with items of various shapes and sizes needing to be packed in the most efficient way possible in order to utilize every bit of space available in your trunk, luggage racks, and backpack. As you progress through the game, you will find yourself planning increasingly longer and more dangerous trips into the zone, so proper packing is essential. The road trips you plan in Pacific Drive become longer and longer as you progress through the game and consist of anywhere from 1 to as many as 6 or 7 different levels, each with their own unique set of threats and conditions. A map of each area is accessible from the passenger seat of your car, and while it would have been nice to have some sort of HUD map available from the menu screen, because most of the resources you need to acquire are not marked on it, the car map is more than adequate for the purpose it serves. The map does mark the locations of houses, science facilities, and gas stations, but you will quickly find that many of the more desirable looting opportunities will come from things like abandoned box trucks and research stations, which can only be discovered by straying a bit off the beaten path and exploring areas that seem to be empty on the map. Thanks to instability storms, you only have a limited amount of time at most junctions before an alarm sounds, signaling that it's time to go before the storm rolls in. So it's often necessary to prioritize only the best scavenging opportunities so that you have time to collect enough anchor energy to open a gateway. Fortunately, the controls are set up in a way that allows you to very quickly cycle through your scavenging tools, allowing you to quickly and efficiently loot the resources you need. So when that alarm does sound, your trunk and luggage racks should be filled with goodies to head into the gateway with. The overall aesthetic of Pacific Drive in terms of video and audio appeal is consistently and thoroughly impressive. The world that you inhabit and explore is bizarre, frightening, and unpredictable, while also maintaining a fascinatingly odd sort of beauty in all of its chaos that never fails to surprise. Even the radio playlist, while somewhat short, is loaded with songs that fit the mood perfectly as you drive your car through this surreal environment. The only major issue I experienced in my time playing Pacific Drive would be the high level of bugs and glitches that were never worked out. Fortunately, most of the bugs I experienced involved things like sound effects getting stuck on repeat and animations not triggering when they should, but sometimes my equipped items would get stuck cycling on a loop. This issue always manages to resolve itself on its own after a couple minutes, but is incredibly frustrating when it does happen because it basically locks up your ability to perform any other actions until it stops, which can cost you precious time that you may or may not have to spare. None of the bugs that I experienced were anything game-breaking or progress blocking, but were still enough of a nuisance to cause unnecessary frustration and headaches from time to time. So, taking all things into consideration, the final score for Pacific Drive is going to look something like this. Pacific Drive is a fast-paced, challenging sci-fi road trip and a hell of a wild ride through a bizarre yet beautiful hellscape that combines compelling storytelling and high adrenaline white-knuckle driving with the looting, crafting, and upgrading that you've come to expect from the survival genre. And while it does suffer from a few minor issues involving repetitive level design and audio and animation bugs, this game is an intensely entertaining, highly addictive experience that you're not going to want to sleep on. The total score I'm giving Pacific Drive is going to be an 8.9 with a difficulty level of 7 out of 10. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking out my review. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the other videos on my channel. And if there's anything that you'd like to see me do, feel free to leave a comment below or get in touch with me through my Discord. Till next time, this is Gishi, checking out.